What's up, you guys? My name is Tyler Rugge. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to share with you guys all of my rarest reptile species that I have. Now, I thought this would be fun for a couple reasons. First one, obvious. As the title suggests, I'm showing you guys species that are pretty rare. Not a lot of people have these in the grand scheme of things. And I'm sure some of these you'll have maybe never seen before. I've also never really shared any of these animals on my channel before, or even really on my social media. I think a couple of these I've shown, but most of these you guys probably don't even know I have. And I thought this would be a really easy way to introduce just pretty much all the animals that I haven't introduced yet, while also just showing you guys all these really cool rare species that I have the privilege of working with. I would normally go on some rant about, you know, a lot of these species are very difficult to keep, sensitive, do your research before, blah, blah, blah. But even if you wanted to get any of these, like, you would probably have a very difficult time finding a lot of them. Like, they are really difficult to get your hands on, and I'm just a very lucky individual, really. So, yeah, that's about it. Where should we start? This is in no particular order because I can't really put them on a scale of most to least rare, but I want to start off with Pseudogecko smaragdinus, common name Polillo false gecko. So these are just really stunning, really vibrant colored little geckos that are from the Polillo Island in the Philippines. I have a trio of these guys, and I am, of course, looking into breeding them. There's only a couple people, I believe, in the United States who are currently working with them, and I am now one of them. It's really cool, but it's also like, there's a little bit of weight on your shoulders. When there's a species that not a lot of people are working with, you're like one of few. You don't want to mess that up. You know what I'm saying? So it's stressful, but it's also very cool. I imported my trio from Europe. I believe there's probably more people in Europe working with them. There's a lot of species that are a little bit more common in Europe, but then there's like 2 people in the United States that have them. So this is one of those species. I'm not sure how common they are in Europe, but I'm assuming more common than here. And they're just this really cool yellowish green, very pretty, some white and black speckling. Their tail has some like orangey, red, and white banding. And when they get stressed out, they just turn this really dark, muddy brown color. Some animals change colors under stress. Some of them get prettier under stress. These geckos are not one of those. They get ugly when they're stressed out. Relatable. As far as what they eat, I feed them Pangea gecko diet, and I also feed them live insects. Yeah, I got them when they were just like little tiny. They are captive bred also, I should mention. Mine are captive bred. I got them from a breeder in Europe. I got them as babies. They get around 12 to 13 centimeters in length approximately. Yeah, they're also very fast, as a lot of small geckos are. And speaking of fast geckos, that can transition us into the next species that I want to share with you guys, and that is my Phelsuma ornata. My name is Mauritius ornate day gecko. Anyways, this is a day gecko species that is endemic to the Mauritius Island. The coastal areas is where they're mostly found. And this island is just east of Madagascar. So the Phelsuma ornata also gets around 12 centimeters in length. They also have just these very stunning colors. Reddish, orange, blue, green, like everything going on. They're stunning geckos, absolutely beautiful. Small, very cute little day geckos, adorable. But like I said, they are fast. And when I say fast, they are the fastest gecko that exists. That's actually probably not true. I completely made that up. They're the fastest gecko I've ever seen, the fastest gecko I've ever witnessed. His name is Gary, by the way. He was produced by my friend Mason Barnes, who breeds ornate day geckos. Shout out to Mason Barnes, thank you. Gary is a fast son of a bitch, okay? And do not take that lightly. He's gotten out a couple of times, absolute nightmare, but it's really unavoidable. You know, I just open it just the amount that I need to like stick his little food dish in there and mist and whatever. But sometimes he'll just immediately like hop on the screen, run across, jump on my arm, run up and like just leave. It's crazy. They're so smart, so fast. Even when he hunts his crickets, the speed of which he vigorously shakes the cricket is insane. And you can hear him, as he's shaking it, you can hear like the cricket like smacking the background, but it's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. Other than being fast, they, in the wild, eat insects and nectar mostly. So in captivity, we tend to feed them, again, Pangea and insects. Diet, pretty straightforward. They like a lot of humidity. As a lot of day geckos tend to be, they have very soft skin that will rip off very easily. So you can't really grab them either, so that makes it even harder to catch them. I usually have to try using a net. Also, random fun fact about ornate day geckos. In 2014, 5 of them were launched into space to test the effects of microgravity on gecko reproduction. All 5 of them died. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Next, okay, these next 2 I've technically shown on my channel. Next up, we have my Europlatus giganteus, or my giant leaftail gecko. These guys are the largest of the Europlatus. They get to be about a foot long, about 32 centimeters. They're just really lanky, kind of creepy looking geckos. I absolutely love them. Endemic to Madagascar, Europlatus giganteus is often mistaken for Europlatus fimbriatus and vice versa. They're both giant leaftail geckos and they're both very similar. Usually giganteus, people will say they have a giganteus that they're selling, but it's actually a fimbriatus. Fimbriatus are a bit more common. I pretty much never see giganteus, or at least like real giganteus, for sale. There have been a couple times, but it's usually, I've had a hunch that it was actually fimbriatus. I'm looking for a female, so if anyone has a female, hit me up. I was lucky enough to find a captive bred male at an expo. That was just pure luck. There was like a research paper that I read about how to actually identify the difference between giganteus and fimbriatus. There were a few different ways, of course, but the main, like, most easy way that I could really tell is by looking at their eyes. The fimbriatus usually have red veining in their eyes, whereas giganteus do not have red veining specifically. So that's the main thing I look for. Also, fun fact about the giant leaftail geckos is their like threat pose when they feel threatened, which I've unfortunately never seen this in real life, but their threat pose, they open their mouths, stick their tongues out, and bulge their eyes out. And it looks absolutely ridiculous. And fun fact, they are endangered due to deforestation. Gotta love the human race. Anyways, next we have another Europlatus species. This is the Europlatus peichmani. I have a pair of them. These are definitely up there with some of the more difficult Europlatus species to find, just in general, especially captive bred. There aren't very many people breeding them. Again, they're from Madagascar, get like 5 inches-ish, 13 centimeters. They're also known as the cork bark leaftail gecko. You guessed it, because they look like cork bark. Imagine the reason for your existence is for you to look like bark. Like, that's it. But they're really cool. They're really cool creatures. It's another one of those species where it's like stressful to own them, especially because Europlatus are so sensitive and just notoriously difficult to keep. I've had them since March and they're doing good. They look like bark. I think I covered it all. I was also lucky enough to get a captive bred pair of these guys, and I am hoping to also be able to breed them. So next up, we're gonna get into our Strophousspinaziris. So we have 2 different types of Strophousspinaziris species. So I was like the one who wanted to really get into the Europlatus, and Maddie was the one who kind of found out about Strophousspinaziris and wanted to get into the Strophousspinaziris stuff. So she imported the Strophousspinaziris from Europe, and we have a lot of Strophousspinaziris. I'm not 100% sure how many of them. We definitely have at least a few of each species. Again, Maddie is like the main Strophousspinaziris person. First one is Strophoustanakata. Their common name is golden spiny-tailed gecko, Australian species. And the Strophoustanakata are just like these really crazy black and white lizards. They have like an orangish, brownish stripe that goes down the back of their tail. They have these crazy bright, like reddish orange eyes. They just look incredible. And to top all of that off, probably won't be able to get actual footage of our Strophousspinaziris with their mouths open very easily, so I might just have to insert a picture. But the inside of their mouths are just bright blue. All of these factors combined, they're just all around crazy, incredible looking lizards. Also stay really small, like 7 centimeters. And probably the most interesting fact about them is their main form of defense, and this goes with all Strophousspinaziris, they shoot a liquid out of their tail. It's like a sticky, yellowish brown liquid. It's really smelly, that's the whole point. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not even that harmful. It just smells bad. They shoot a smelly, yucky liquid out of their tail. It's sticky. And when I say out of their tail, I mean legitimately out of their tail, not like out of their vent. They're not like musking on you. There's actual pores on their actual tail. They'll like lift their tail forward and just shoot liquid at you. It's crazy. We've never had it happen yet so far. Yeah, like in the wild, they'll shoot this liquid out of their tail onto like, because they'll be, you know, kind of basking on branches and stuff. So if there's like a bird or something coming, they'll shoot the liquid out of their tail to deter birds from landing near them. We have Strophoustanakata stickers now available on our website, celestialexotics.net. Based on pure looks, I probably like the Strophoustanakata more, but this next one, which is the Strophousspinaziris, also known as southwestern spiny-tailed gecko or something, again, let's just go by Strophoustanakata. Why make it more complicated with a common name, am I right? Again, obviously Australia. These Strophousspinaziris aren't necessarily as like pretty, you know? Like they don't have some really intricate pattern. They're kind of just like a grayish color. They have a darker pattern going down their back and down their tail. But what I love about their tails is their tails are definitely like pretty spiky looking, whereas the Tanakata don't really have spiky tails. And they also just have these stunning like golden colored eyes. The Strophoustanakata have just like hilarious personalities. They also hunt right in front of you and they just look hilarious when they're eating. The way they swallow their food, it almost looks like they're choking, but they're not actually choking. Like they literally just eat like that. They do it every single time. It's not because their food's too big. That's just how they are. They're really cool little lizards and definitely underrated. So last but not least, this is probably our most recent addition. I think we got these guys just a couple months ago. So these are called Certodactylus eloc, and their common name, Malaysian bent-toed gecko, and you guessed it, they're from Malaysia. They're kind of like a brownish beige color with some dark banding, and sometimes it just depending if they're like fired up or down weird, they look like they're just like pink colored. But what I really love about them is their tails. They have these like really spiky looking tails that curl up. And it's just very cool because they'll like uncurl their tail and like curl it up. It's just very cool looking, but they'll just, when they're chilling, they just chill there with their tail curled up. Maddie and I saw them on his table at an expo, and that's what kind of, I think, drew us to them a little bit, was their little tails. They just looked really cool. And it turns out, once again, they're just like a really obscure kind of rare species that not a lot of people work with, but also like not a lot of people are really seeking them out either, really, you know? Like I said, it's not like there were people swarming to go get them or anything. We were just kind of like, oh, those are neat. Again, very underrated gecko in my opinion, but they're very cool. And we got a trio of them. Already laid 2 eggs, and we have another female that's hanging out in the lay box right now. Probably gonna lay eggs any day now. We've at least gotten eggs so far. So yeah, on that note, those are all the species that I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you guys for watching if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed just meeting all of these creatures. Let me know if there were any that you haven't seen before. If so, which ones? I'm just kind of curious. Or just let me know if you are like Tyler, I've heard of all of these and you're not special. If that's the case, you can let me know too. That's fine. And yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And all my social media links will be down in the description below, along with my online pet store, celestialexotics.net. I will see you guys in the next video.